Hello, everybody. Welcome to Module 6. Hopefully, you are still in Module 5 with us, and you're jumping ahead to learn all about this unit and work on this module. The cool thing with this one is it would be nice to have the 2 weeks versus 1 week. So hopefully you are not currently in Module 6, you're in Module 5. So let's talk about this. So again, just so we can refresh with this week you have a yellow dig assignment, you have a time card or a timesheet, or a timesheet entry as we're calling it, and you've got your survey, interview guide, and recruitment strategy. So as you're looking at this video is going to be a little bit different because I'm going to go over some of the basic pieces of this module, but I'm also going to kind of step back and look at kind of the overall structure that's happening right now, so that way everybody's on the same page. So you will see a more detailed video about this assignment in the assignment itself. So the assignment, the reading, it'll all be there so that way you can look at it. There's also some videos in that assignment as well. So let's jump in a little bit, and I want to talk about this Jamboard that's sitting right here. So if you guys will click on that Jamboard, or if you follow our screen, I'm going to click on it so you can see it. But in this Jamboard, we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about your topics and kind of the human-centered design, the how might we statements that you've developed in the past as you're looking at this, and we're going to move it forward. So we're going to refer back to this document a couple of times just so we're on the same page. So when you think about this, you have a topic at this point. You have an audience. So as you look right here, here is your topic. You also have an audience, which this is your audience right here. And as we think about it, these are some of the how might we statements that you might add in. And then the possibilities or how human-centered design is roped in or wrapped into this is right here. So is it human-centered design, the possibilities for teaching and learning. So as you're doing this, keep in mind, it needs to be a project that's wrapped around some sort of teaching and learning, idea or some sort of problem or some sort of solution that's helping with teaching and learning. So keep that in mind as we're working through this. So I'm not going to read this to you, but if we look at the first one, it tells you, again, the topic that we're thinking about, the audience, how might we change or reduce, some unwanted behaviors within the classroom? And then, yes, teaching educators could be something that we work on, some solutions, a teaching and learning kind of idea. Hopefully that's making sense. If it's not, reach back out to us so we can talk with you more about it. But again, as you look at the next one, this one involves higher ed. This one involves a business. So again, teaching and learning across the board. So as we continue with this, I want you to kind of look at this just so we're in the same kind of mindset. This course focuses on really two ideas, inspiration and then ideation. So the course is kind of segmented into that. So in Module 4, we started this whole concept of framing your design challenge. And then, 2 weeks ago, we were looking at secondary research. Now we're looking at surveys and interviews. We're going to also look at some immersion activities. And then after we do all that, we're going to pull everything together into a capture your learning type document. So you're really investigating your population, understanding what's happening within your population, within your site, within your organization, trying to get a firm grasp on what's happening, because then you're going to capture everything. And then once you capture it, then we're going to move on to the ideation process. So once you have that, then we're going to look at ideas, idea selection, prototypes. We're going to look at the feedback that you get from your rapid prototype as you go into really designing that final solution that you're going to implement in 498. But let's back up just a second because I want to talk about this really quick. Secondary research, we just finished that. And you had a chance to explore some research and really dig into the idea, that problem, that challenge that you're looking at. Now we're going that next step. We're going to pull it apart more, looking at surveys and interviews. And then again, immersion is where you're in your site and you're learning what's happening, you're watching, you're maybe doing a card sort. There's a lot of different ways that you can immerse yourself in the context that you're learning. But the thing of it is, if you don't spend time really thinking about this and playing around with it and really analyzing it, the solution that you're trying to come up with will not be a true solution. So please, if you kind of halfway did the survey, the secondary research, go back and dig in some more. Make sure that you understand why there's a problem or a challenge. When you're looking at your surveys and interviews, make sure you're developing questions that really pull apart why is this a problem and how it can be solved. When you're immersing yourself, don't waste time. Really stay present, stay in the moment, look to see what's happening so you get a full understanding of the problem and the challenge that you're trying to solve. Because when you capture your learning at the very end, we're going to look at all of that to see what the whole scope is. And then once you've done that, we're going to go kind of the next step, and we're going to look at from, that what you learned, we're going to pull that together and start generating those ideas. But again, if you don't do the other part correctly, the ideas that you generate won't solve a problem. Make sure that as you're doing this, that you're working with your site, you're working with your team, you're working with your supervisor, because I know sometimes as educators and as students, we kind of go off on our own and we find problems that we think are problems that the site or the organization doesn't find to be a problem. So we've in essence created something that doesn't exist, and then we go and we create all these solutions and they're like, why'd you do that? So make sure that you're involving them and you're listening to them. You can't solve the problem without them. So keep that in mind. Patrick, do you want to add something in on this one?
Yeah, I would just say that, in every industry, one of the things that any person who's in charge of teaching and learning or training or any type of growth portion, whether it's leadership, organizational management, or teaching, or social work, you're going to have to assess the needs of people that you're serving or the organization that you're serving. Organizations are just groups of people, and there needs to be some sort of identified learning gap or training gap or missed opportunity or something that is clearly a identified need by the organization. That's where the surveys and interviews come in. It's essentially you doing a needs analysis and determining what gaps there are, and then aligning your vision for your HCD project to their vision, so that way you're coming up with a workable solution that's collaborative and that is going to be it doesn't have to be, I am going to completely change the curriculum at this school that I'm working at because it's just terrible curriculum. And maybe instead it's, let's examine one unit of math curriculum, and maybe we can bolster test scores a little bit, or we can get students to feel more comfortable with this if we tried this. How about incorporating a little bit of technology into something? That is just a lens through which to see things that might be a little bit different and might offer you some different perspective.
And just be open. I mean, the one thing that you're doing in this first phase is you're looking at inspiration. You're not, I think a lot of times we think in secondary research, we have it all planned out. In surveys and interviews, we have a solid idea. But at this point, you're looking to be inspired by what is out there that you can possibly look at. So again, inspiration, then after we capture our learning, we see what's there, then we can dive into ideation. So this is where we're generating those ideas. We're selecting an idea. We come up with some sort of prototype. We try it. We want to fail fast. Like we want to get it out there, see if it works. If it works, then we build on it. And then again, that's the feedback and the refinement. And then we're going to wrap this semester up and we're going to head into 498. And then you're going to start looking at the implementation of it in a full-scale pilot. Hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, please reach back out to us. We're here to help you. We want to make sure that you succeed. Call, Zoom, text, whatever you need to. We're here to help. All right. There are more videos that you are going to see actually in the assignment. So keep that in mind, and we will see you in the assignment. Peace.